All right, I've seen some people posting about how to do a quick press break. So I'm going to show a couple things. I'm going to show kind of the break itself, then I'll show it against like a 1-2-2 zone. My philosophy on teaching youth press breaks is to teach a press first. So any press will do, man to man, 1-2-2, 2-2-1, diamond and one, whatever type of press you want to try. You need a press to train against. You know what I mean? You need something that is not, completely weak, because any press is easy to break if it's weak. But coaches that run really solid presses, they get really good at it by the end of the year. So if they're pressing you early in the season, they're going to get better as they go along. So you want to make sure you're ready. You get your kids ready to deal with tougher presses as they move along. So you don't want to have a weak press to practice against. You want a strong one. So I'll talk about that later. Right now, I'm going to show you how to do start implementing a break. So this one, I'm not going to show any on my screen. You can see nothing's there in terms of opposing players. This is just a setup. So it kind of depends on personnel who you want to do, but basically I'll put three in the front court here, and then my wings and my centers or power forwards. My non-dribbler guys, my bigger guys, I typically stick them at the tees here between the sideline and the center line. Now these guys have the option to move either way, but I'll show you kind of the basic setup. So my three best ball handlers, I will stack two of them at the free throw line, and then I'll have one inbound the ball. So this is a person I want to be able to bring the ball up. Okay, doesn't have to be the best ball handler, but has to have some of the skills, right? And typically the way I run this is I'll train the throw-in guy, the inbounder, if he can, on the main bucket, get out from behind the backboard. That'll help later on when they have to throw a little further. If this person's covered, they want to throw further, or this person has to curl. They have the ability to do that. When they're behind the backboard, it limits their ability to lob deep passes. And I'll go back a step. So while I have this guy move, I'm going to have whoever's in front on the stack, if it's man-to-man, they set a screen, this guy goes opposite. So if this guy screens this guy, he goes opposite. Screens this guy, he goes opposite. So it's a stack and split. Stack, front guy screens and split. Okay. The next step is for the inbounder to hit the open guy. You can always double back and try to hit this guy if this guy gets overplayed. But this is like a quick outlet type pass. You guys, they can do that real quick even before the press is set if they can. That's a victory. Now, the hard part is to get this kid to catch the pass and not put his head down and dribble, and specifically not speed dribble towards the corner. That's what every trapping press is out there to do. I want this person to catch, turn, and look. That's because the next step is the inbounder is his primary target. So this person, whoever inbounds the ball, most times is left alone and can do a quick face cut in front of any defenders. Or you can do a lead pass. So this guy could throw ahead because the defender is still down here, kind of hovering in that trap middle zone, trying to deny middle. So usually this opens up, and whoever's in the second row usually has a little lag reaction time. So you can beat most presses getting the ball here in the middle. Okay, so that's the first concept, right? And then as you go along, right, if you do get to middle, then it's okay. You have, you can hit either side, or you can start looking to hit deep, right? And then you're set up in a pretty good set. You're set up. Your ball's not forced to one side or the other, and you're good set. And you can always relay it back to a guard. One of the guards can always double back. This guy could always double back and get the ball before half court, or the guy could hit him here, right? If he's open, and then run to wherever they want to go, and these guys can run their set, right? So that's the idea. So let's back it up here. Back up a couple steps. Okay. Go back here again, and let's add the defense. In this case, I'm going to do a 1-2-2 press. Okay. 3/4 court press. When I run myself. Here we go. So how does it look with this? So as they move along, right? So as they inbound the ball, right? In this type of press, we're going to let them inbound. We don't really care. So let's say they get to the stage where they inbound the ball. This guy's going to come over, right? This guy will adjust. This guy should come over. This should come a little bit this way, and this guy should be watching the corner. Okay. Next step is, okay, this guy's cutting ahead. So this guy here typically could be covering that pass. This three here could also be covering that pass. But what they're trying to do is allow the person to dribble up, right? This person's definitely paying attention to that sideline. Okay, this person here is probably still hanging back. So as we move along, right, if you can get that face cut, if you can get into that pocket, right, probably more like that, you're usually in good shape. Okay, so that's just a turn, pass, pivot. Okay, and then from there, right, it's usually something like this will happen, and then this guy might come, this guy might try to recover, this guy's going to try to recover, and everybody's heading back. Okay, so you're in good shape. You're in good shape if you can get there. If you can't, if that one pass here, if you get to the two, and this person is, playing good, and this guy steps through that center, right? What do you do next? Well, good question. This guy cuts through, right? Who's the next best option? So this guy's going to cover here. You can always do the lob over here, but most presses, they'll just let that happen, and then these guys will shift over. So what usually happens, what I tell my kids to look for, is for this guy here to keep clearing through, okay? And this guy here to flash, okay? So this guy's going to be covered for a while, and this guy's going to flash, and we're going to look to hit him, okay? And then as that, the guard comes here, he goes up, and he keeps going, okay? So I usually have the opposite side big flash to the middle if there's no option. If the 3 isn't there, then I have the opposite side flash in. Okay, and that, you can just dictate where that is personnel wise. Somebody who's good at catching, and again, same thing. I don't want this guy to dribble. I want him to hit the guard, right? So the idea here is you don't want to spring. You don't want the press spring the trap. You don't want to have the press where this guy. Let's back it up here. You don't want to have, and where most presses work, the double teaming concept of the press, right? Is this guy says, okay, I see a gap here, right? Or he could quickly try to relay it here. Again, this person's trained to look at intercepting that pass. They're going to leave it open a little bit, but they're trained intercepting that. So what you don't want is this guy to try to speed dribble, right? And then this guy comes over and this guy shuts the door. That's what you're trying to avoid, right? Because this guy will be covering center, this guy will cover that side guy, and this guy's floating kind of middle. So that's what you're trying to avoid. So as this guy's coming through the center here, if you can get him, and you can do even a little quick relay here, right? So if your kid can spring that trap but quickly relay it to the other side, usually that beats this type of press. So if you're going to dribble, you're likely going to be in a trap. You better know it's coming. So another thing I prep my kids for is, besides teaching them how to press, I teach my kids how to sideline trap, because that's what presses are going to do to you. So when you're running a break, you want to anticipate what the other team's doing. So the other team is going to try to steal your inbound pass or not. They're going to direct you to the sideline, right, and trap you, or they're going to try to intercept your passes down the middle, right? They're going to give up something. Presses usually give up the weak side, flip, right, and that. So when I show you the press, I'll show you how we try to counter this. And as the kids get better at reading it, they don't hard hedge as much. They'll soft hedge. They'll kind of go and they'll test you. But that's the idea. That's the setup, right? Bang, split, right? Let me back it up a bit here. I'll try to rerun it from the beginning so it's a little clearer. So let me review. So have your players split, stack and split the free throw line. Just takes 3 guys. The other guys run to the side of the court. Hit whoever's open, right? Stay put, don't dribble. This guy's going to be splitting this way, and this guy's going to try to run to open space to get open, right? And you're trying to get him here before you pass him. So you're trying to lead that pass. Again, this guy's going to probably try to cover that. This guy's going to try to cover that. This guy might hedge here. This guy should be slipping over, right? So again, tempted to dribble, but that's what these two people are baiting for. So the next thing is, okay, what do you do from here? If that's not open, he just keeps going, right? These are well trained, right? Disperse the flashes to take the center. Pass here. Okay? He keeps going. He can drop. He can go. He can go. These people are scrambling to get recovered. Okay, then you can look at passing here or down there. Okay, so one more time, stack, out from behind the backboard, split, hit either one of these guys, works either direction. Don't dribble, look for the three, look for the inbounder. If that's not open, let them clear. You always have that deep lob pass, this guy's still there. Opposite side flashes to the middle. And then from there, everybody's in recovery. Because once the ball's here, most presses are broken. Again, this person should not necessarily dribble. Okay? If they're good at it, maybe you can get away with it. But for the most part, I just want this guy to pass to someone ahead who's open. All right. That's the quick little stack, half court, stack press break. There are variations on this where you can actually put the 5 in the middle right to start with, but you can look that up. It's called Badger. Coach Collins does that one. This is what I set up because it doesn't take very long. Usually I train my bigs to go down deep anyways down the sideline, so they're already running in that direction. I tell my guards to split the outlet, even on a regular rebounding situation. So this works good even if they press. They set up a quick press even during transition instead of an inbound. Okay, so hopefully that makes some sort of sense. Take care.